all heard so much about Sambo's Joe Adams, who he lovingly referred to as Saint Joe. Your own. You. Yes.
Oh, goodness. You know, am I the only one in costume? I think this is a costume for it. Did she tell you who I am? I've come so far, but I'm St. Joe, Church of the Helping Hand, and I was Sambo's buddy. So I've come a long way to talk about him. Joanne said I can't have very long to talk, so I have to talk faster. But I came to preach. Sambo was always calling me to come preach. He thought I was wonderful. He said, and he would always say, "Bring the Mickey Mouse hat." Well, because this is really a Monsignor's hat, but if you wear it the wrong way, it looks a little like Mickey Mouse. So I would go and preach at the Royal Studio sometimes, and he would say, I'd say, "What do you want me to tell them?" He said, "Tell them stuff they need to know." I would tell them stuff they need to know. So that's what I brought here today, a little short sermon, stuff that you need to know. But this is really a legitimate outfit. I have a Doctor of Divinity degree. Now, it's true that I got it through the mail. It's real. It's actual Sambo, you can get some good things through the mail. I got my hat through the mail, I got my hand through the mail, baptismal certificates, all kinds of good things. And I said, and you can get good stuff on QVC too. I don't think you ever watched QVC, but I live in South Carolina, and we got a call quite a few years ago. My wife got a call from Sambo, and he was coming to town in 2 days. He was doing Sambo's gospel breakfast at the South Carolina Architects Society. They were meeting on Hilton Head Island where I live. And so he said, "I want him to come preach with me." And he said, "and tell him to bring that hat." So he had rounded up 30 or 40 black gospel singers. He had them over there at the hotel for breakfast and everything. The night before he came in, my wife and I had dinner with him. And so he told her what his plan was, that at first they would sing while we had breakfast, and then I would preach, and then he would preach. And so as the night went on, he said, "Are you coming over tomorrow, Carol?" She said, "No, I'm not coming over there. I think you're sacrilegious." She said, "I'd be willing to bet that both of you will get struck by lightning, so I don't want to be here." So Sambo said, "Carol, I think God probably has a sense of humor." And she said, "You'd better hope so. He's going to be playing peanuts with Richard Nixon in hell." So he made it through the all right. He said, "But normally I don't preach. I got my Doctor of Divinity degree, and then I realized that ministers really don't make a lot of money. So I decided that I would specialize in marriages, and I came up with this new concept. Sambo thought it was a tremendous idea. And what I would do was marry people according to how long they wanted to be married. They would tell me 5 years, 50 years, whatever, and I charge them accordingly. Is that when their marriage ran out. If they didn't want to remarry, they just left one another. No messy divorces, no money to attorneys. But if they wanted to get married again, I did another wedding. So I would do them over and over again. And I had some people that this one couple only wanted to be married for half an hour. You don't think I don't have any ethics? So I said, 2-hour minimum. And that was the most expensive one. But mainly, I did this to get discounts. And if you wear the Monsignor's hat, well, if you wear a Monsignor's hat now, you might get the hell beat out of you. They would upgrade you to first class. My wife on the plane, my wife always wanted to travel first class. I'm not paying first class. So I got my doctor's divinity degree, which wasn't that much at all. And then we would get upgraded. But she wouldn't go anymore. She said the plane's going to go down and wearing that outfit. The pilots, they upgrade you because the pilots like to have a man of the cloth sitting next to them. And then you also get discounts. You have to ask for them, but you get discounts on clothes. But you can only buy black. And get discounts on Hawaiian shirts. And then at motels you get discounts. Last night at the motel, I told them that I was a minister. So I get a discount. I said, I'm an art member. How do you get a discount? So I said, AAA, senior citizen. I gave them my business card, So I said, I'm a veteran too, foreign wars. And so yes, as you know, the way I figure it, you put all of these discounts together and you have to pay me $14. I don't think we can do that. At any rate, I did really come to preach a very brief sermon, and it's titled, Everything You Need to Know, and Then Some. And one of the things that Sambo liked about me is that when I was young and first starting out, I wrote down everything that was true that I learned on index cards. I did this for two reasons. One, if somebody came up to you and said, what do you know, Joe? You could whip out your index card. And the thing with this is they'd hardly ever ask you again. But the main reason that I did this is we were compatible in a lot of ways. I said, if you had all your knowledge on index cards, then your mind is completely empty. And you can go around with an empty head just waiting for something wonderful to come to you. And I think it's true. As long as you got stuff on the card, you can be empty-headed waiting for some creative thought to come. So that's when I was young, I had boxes of these cards. When I was 35, I knew everything. Boxes and boxes of these cards. As time went on, I realized that a lot of the things weren't true. So I started having to throw cards away. So I'm down to... My wife likes to tell people he's not dealing with a full deck. So I haven't had a full deck in ages. And I'm going to try to run through these a little fast. But this is stuff that you need to think about, and it will help you with your life. This is what he used to have me tell his students, among other things. This is one. Don't work for bastards. I would tell you, go in Monday if you work for one and quit. Or better yet, call him tomorrow at home so he can go in. My father told me this one, and it's so true. I was always successful in business. Everything seemed so easy, but he told me how to do it. He said, find out what people expect from you, and then do a little bit more. It really is easy. First of all, most people don't expect very much of you. One of the reasons I love Sambo was that he had great expectations. He didn't expect a little bit. He expected a lot from people. And so following this little rule is good. In college, I was a Phi Beta Kappa, but I wasn't all that smart. The first day of every class, I would raise my hand and I'd say, what does it take to ace this course? Well, they would be caught off guard completely, and they would come up with some stupid answer. I would do immediately. I would get my A, so I am the most uneducated Phi Beta Kappa. They've taken my name off their rolls now anyway since I became a minister. This is a good one. Don't hang with losers. Really. Surround yourself with bright people, enthusiastic people, hard-working people. I learned this, unfortunately, the hard way. When I was in the 4th grade, I went to a new school. My cousin was in the school. He was a couple years older than I was because he was not a Phi Beta Kappa. He had been, as they used to call it, held back. He was a loser. He was older than I was. He was the only person I knew. So when we went to at recess, he said, come on with me. So I went with him, and we went down in the woods, a bunch of boys. They got in the woods, they lit up cigarettes right away. Well, I was only 9 years old. I didn't smoke. So I'm standing there. They're smoking. The principal comes rushing into the woods. They all ran. I didn't run because I didn't do anything. I was just standing in the woods. But he grabs me, takes me to his office. And back in those days, educators weren't so nice. He got out the strap and he whacked me on the butt. Whacked me on the butt again. And I kept saying, I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything. But every time he would whack me, he would say, birds of the feather flock together. Whack! Birds of the feather flock together. Whack! So the next day at recess, we go out and my cousin Howard says, come on. And I said, I'm not flocking with you. But every time I flocked with him, I got into trouble. With winners, not flock with losers. This one's true. Problems happen. Problems happen. You can't get away from them. In the book called The Road Less Traveled, that's the first thing that it says in the book. And once you accept that problems happen and quit trying to run away from them, face them head on, they become opportunities. All the problems become opportunities, And all wisdom comes from solving problems. You've got to work your way through the things, and that's how you get wise. I know it worked for me. I sit around most of the time waiting for wisdom to kick in. I keep thinking, when is it when they come to me? So far, it hasn't. Develop a keen sense of humor. Humor makes the unbearable bearable. The sooner you start laughing about the bad things that happen to you, the sooner you're going to start getting over them. I would tell people, laugh a lot. Laugh at work. Don't laugh hysterically, however, because then they come and take you away. This is what I love about Sambo. Even in this picture where he's trying to look very serious and intelligent, He looks like he's about to break out of a laugh. He laughed a lot. Mainly at me, I should say. Mainly at me. Don't be afraid to fail. You know, we learn more when we fail than when we succeed. When I was in business, when we would win business and stuff, I never knew why. But when we failed, they would always tell you. One time they said, you didn't get this account because your president is a klutz. Be creative. Live creatively. You know, we're all creative. We're all creative. We have two sides of our brains. The logic. Someone else has already invented all of that. You can be a logical person if you want to, but you will never come into your own spiritually and individually until you trust the creative side and let that lead you through life. You have to trust your spirit. You have to trust your spirit. Somebody's already invented this other stuff. If you trust your spirit, you will invent all kinds of wonderful stuff. If at first you don't succeed, screw it. Spend all the time trying again. You probably are in the wrong field. Same old thing over and over again. Be conspicuous. This is one of the things that I liked about Sambo too. You know, you need to stand out in a crowd. You know, you can't blend in. I tell people, don't blend in, but they do anyway. He stood out in a crowd. He told me one time, I'm a Southern architect. I said, oh, get out of here, you're not a Southern architect. You're an architect that lives in the South. You are not a Southern architect. You know, design knows no geographic boundaries. Design knows no language. You know, your stuff is wonderful. It could be anywhere. 2 years after that, the book Global Architecture is done every 2 years, and they pick house designs from all over the world. I think that I'm right about this. I think there were only 4 American houses. 2 of them belonged to Sambo. You know, so I said, see, I told you you're not a Southern architect. You know, but he did love the South. I mean, that's one of the things that we were compatible about. We were both children of the South. When I met him, I had the South beaten out of me. And I had decided to sell my businesses and come back to the South in spite of the fact that they said you can't go home again. You can go home again. You should never have left in the first place. You can go home again. You know, and so I came home again. I have to tell you this brief story how I met him. You know, I clipped articles about him. I didn't know him. I just knew the stuff that he designed, and I put them in my Mississippi file. I figure sooner or later I will go to Mississippi, and then I'll go see him. So I got an invitation to come to Jackson, speak to the Jackson Advertising Club, and I wrote to Sambo, and I said, I'm coming to Mississippi, 3 things on my mind: talk to the Advertising Club, eat some catfish, and meet you. So I said, you know, we could do 2 of those together, eat the catfish and meet you. My secretary, who hardly ever said anything bad about me, she said, Mr. Adams, this is the dumbest letter you've ever written. She said, this man is not going to contact you. You know, well, it seemed like the mail only took a day to get there. We got a telephone call from Sambo trying to set up the catfish date and a chance to get together. So we did go eat catfish, and I went to see him, and we were truly, from the moment I met him, like soul brothers. He was in an old storefront in Jackson then, and he had all these wonderful drawings around. I'm standing out there, looking, come on in here, come on in here. You know, but it's just, I mean, it's just a wonderful, creative person. And we went riding out through the countryside visiting people that he had designed houses for. And it was like the prodigal son came home. I mean, he just walked into these people's lives. Sambo's, they loved him. They loved his houses, And we went riding around, talking away. And never let him get out of my life after that, Never. Oh, here's a good one. Eat bran flakes and hire beautiful people. Now, creative atmosphere, I don't think that you can be creative if you're not regular. Then I would tell you that life is simple. Some businesses are more simple. Architect, I was in advertising, really, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Well, I tell you this, when you are down and sitting around crying in your beer, you don't want to have a lot of ugly people sitting there. Things get better quicker. And we had this woman that worked for me, Mary Clark. She was vice president of administration, and she would hire the ugliest people. We didn't know who she got, but in our executive committee meeting, we would say, Mary, we thought she did it because when they had the department pictures taken, she was good looking. That's what I thought. So we had told her not to do this again. And then we had this little thing that when we hired a new employee, I, as the president, would come and greet them instead of having them come to Mohammed. Mohammed would go. So she called, she said, we have a new employee in accounting, Sally. Come down and meet her. So I went down to meet Sally, and I walked into the room. Poor Sally. I'm big, so I don't hold bigness against people, but she was bent over the file cabinet, and she covered 2 equal-sized file cabinets. And so I was waiting. She comes up when Mary says, meet Mr. Adams, Sally, and she came up and turned around, and she had a black mustache. I mean, a black mustache. I couldn't help it. I went, I couldn't help it. So I introduced myself, went back to the office, oh, Mary, get up here. The woman has a mustache. She says, oh, it's not a mustache. It's a little unwanted facial hair. I said, Mary, it's a mustache. I tell you why I'm short. I said, upstairs, they're running up and down the hall saying that Groucho Marx is downstairs and drag. Now, get that mustache off of it. They were so nice. They took her, and within a few days, told her about waxing. They took her over, and they touched her. Yeah, but she was still fat. Always say what you will do and do what you say you're going to do. The worst thing in the world is that people are not reliable. Reliability is more important than anything. You'll find it out. People aren't reliable. You have to do what you say you're going to do. Your whole reputation rests with doing that. Be happy. Be happy. One of the great breakthroughs for me, I was always a moody person when I was young. My wife said, what's wrong, honey? I don't know. Leave me alone, But I went to a conference one time, and this shrink was there, and he said, everyone is responsible for their feelings. Your feelings are the most personal thing that you have. No one can ever know how you truly feel. You can't explain it. It's a feeling. And you're responsible for it. And I thought, he's right. I'm going to be happy all the time. So I became happy. this woman artist did me a painting. It says, happy all the time. Well, I'm the original smiley face. Be happy. No, you can be. Every day I get up, I'm going to be happy today. And people try to make you unhappy, but I don't pay any attention to it. Now, I'm almost to the end of I don't have a wrap-up. I just quit. How did they introduce me? Do you know that I'm deaf? Deaf is a lie. And Sambo would talk on and on and on. But his lips were covered. I could only get half of what he said. And sometimes he would sit and talk to me. Writing a note. No, he couldn't write notes, really. He would write me letters periodically, and I would bless him for that. But he wrote with a beaver stick. So they were always very short. He said Thomas Jefferson wrote with a beaver stick, you know. And I said, because they had not invented ballpoint pens, they didn't have pencils, you know. It was either a beaver stick or a quill, you know. But he had the most beautiful handwriting, but as I said, they were short letters because he was writing with a stick. And I just loved it today, all the beaver sticks that I saw around there, the chair that was made out of beaver stick. I went to the rural studio one time, and he had taken a whole truckload of beaver sticks over, and he made, each student built a chair out of beaver sticks. He said, my friend St. Joe is coming. I want all the chairs on the lawn. He's a big guy. He's going to sit in each chair. If any of the chairs fall, you get an F. It was such a beautiful sight, all these beaver stick chairs. And we have art galleries. I own art galleries. And so one of the young women knew that I did, and she made an easel to go beside the chair. They were really wonderful. I have some beaver sticks at my house. I have a stack of them. It's a little tribute to Sambo. I'm one of these days I'm going to just make some art out of them. But right now I just have them stacked up. But he called me St. Joe. He thought I was sent to him. I said, believe me, Sambo, I can bring 1,000 witnesses to tell you that I am not a saint. I don't care. Bring 1,000,000. And he insisted on calling me St. Joe. And at first it was embarrassing because he would introduce me to people calling me St. Joe. And but then one day I was driving along through the Southland, and I was thinking about him calling me St. Joe. And I thought, how do I know that I'm not a saint? And I'm thinking as I'm driving along, saints are not born. You have to earn your right to be a saint. And I thought, we're all saints in the making. And we were all saints in the making. And so after that, I started calling myself St. Joe. Nobody other than Sambo believes I'm a saint. But it really is true, and it was really a turning point. It was like a revelation for me. We can all earn our sainthood by living like Sambo did. Now, I would say it's sort of in conclusion, I believe. Oh, this is good. I need you, Julius. Remember that I talked to you? Okay. Sambo and I were blessed. And we had a lot in common. We were blessed that we each had wonderful wives, long-term wives too, and we were blessed that we each had 3 daughters. Sambo was luckier than I was because he also had a wonderful son, and we never had a son, just God's sons. One time when I was over at the Rural Studio talking to him, I used to go on the road a lot, But I said, I was used to being away from home. I said, you know, you're gone all the time. You're way over here in another state. I said, you know, does your wife not care? And he looked at me and quite seriously said, my wife loves me. You know, I thought, that's great. That's great. You know, and I thought, my wife loves me. So Sambo says, does your wife care that you're going off all the time? And I said, well, I don't think so, Sambo, because for Christmas she got me 50 steak maps. She could be on the road, you know. So one final thing, you know, Carol, and because I've taken longer than, well, not longer than I was supposed to, because I didn't know how long I was supposed to take, but I have, you know, whenever people pass on, there's always people who say, oh, I wish I had said such and such. You know, so many of us have regrets for things that we didn't say. I do not stop talking when people pass on. If I've got stuff to say, you can still say it. It is never, ever too late to say that you love somebody. It's never too late to tell them anything. So Julius, my assistant, in this bag are the papers that I want you to pass out. Pass them out. One to everybody. What's going on? You can do this at the break this afternoon. Business cards. I want you to take this piece of paper with you. And it says at the top, things I would have told you, Sambo, but you left too soon. I want you to write down the things that you would say to him. You know, they're going to be partial. You can fold them up into little pieces. Give them to me tonight. I know this Indian chief, and I'm taking them all back with me. And we're going to go to the highest mountain in North Carolina. And the chief and I are going to have a little ceremony, and we're going to burn your messages, and they're going to go up for Sambo to hear them. So you can say anything you want. You know, I don't think he would say nasty stuff, but if you want to, you know, and then bring the messages tonight, and I'll have a milk box to put them in. I couldn't find anything decent to put them in, but since they're in this cardboard box, they will be easy for me and the chief to burn. So open up your hearts, and that's my sermon. I'm glad that you let me come and talk about my friend Sambo and talk about myself. Don't let him get away.